relax, be cool. Cause if you don't, you'll act like a fool, so be cool.
Hey everybody, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. It would not surprise me if you haven't heard of this. ZHA is a Chinese animated film that came out in 2019. Holy crap, where did the time go? It's based on Chinese mythology, of course, and follows the exploits of a boy who was, let's say, prophesized to cause pain and destruction. But he was raised by a kindly set of parents who did their very best to shield the world from his destructive power, but also raise him with love. He doesn't want to be a bad guy, but he has a bad temper. He wants to make friends, but it's not as easy as making enemies. Soon, he gets thrust into a situation where he may end up being the monster he's worked so hard to not be, and succeeds. There's way more to it than that, but I'm going off of 6 years of old memories here. But I remember absolutely adoring what I saw. Sure, it wasn't perfect. There was plenty of gross out humor, like you would find in bad 2000s kids movies, but when the movie was trying to be awesome and heartfelt, it really nailed it. I guess it's free on Viki.com. I don't know what that is either. There's so many streaming services now that I'm not the least bit shocked that piracy is on the rise. Anyway, it's worth watching. Muscle through the dumb jokes and it's a blast. And after a 6-year wait, a sequel is finally here. I think the reason for that is because the filmmakers decided to make another film that was set within the ZHA universe, because of course they do, everything needs to have an interconnected universe these days, called Legend of Deification. I actually have no idea what this one is. Gotta look that up. This weekend proved that there was actually a few hotly anticipated films, from the lukewarm new Captain America movie to what I can only assume is the more palatable Paddington in Peru. That was going to be the movie I was about to see, but then I saw that the AMC was just sneaking in a ZHA 2 sequel out of nowhere, and immediately it was over. No, that is my movie for the weekend, and nothing is going to stop me from watching it. Not even that ridiculous runtime.
Well, I gotta admit that's slowing me down, but I'm still going for him.
Whew, was it worth my anticipation? This is my honest opinion of ZHA 2. Bear with me here, there's a lot to unpack. After the destruction of their bodies, ZHA and his best friend Ao Bing are spirits anticipating the regeneration of their new bodies thanks to a giant magical lotus called the Seven-Color Lotus. However, the reincarnation is interrupted by the return of their nemesis, the evil sorcerer Shen, and his dragon god master Ao Guang, father of Ao Bing, who has come to invade ZHA's homeland of Chentang Pass to avenge the supposed death of Ao Bing. Though the reincarnation was mostly a failure and the lotus exhausted of its magic, ZHA is able to retain his body, but at the cost of not being able to use much of his demonic powers, or else his body will be destroyed. And Ao Bing is stuck as a spirit and inhabitates ZHA's body. However, it is proposed that if ZHA travels to the heavenly Yushu Palace, he can complete 3 tasks for the divine ruler, immortal Wulong. He will be gifted an elixir that will revive the lotus and save both ZHA and Ao Bing. But if ZHA fails, then Chentang Pass will be destroyed.
今日到此，除奸恶，尔等妖孽，快受死！
So if that seemed like a lot to take in, it's because it was. Bear in mind, this was a very Chinese movie, very obviously with a Chinese demographic in mind. So unless, at least I feel like, if you are well versed in the Chinese mythologies, then you might have a much easier time following everything that's going on. Now, I admit that I went into this as a filthy Westerner, so of course, it should not come as a surprise to anyone that I had a hard time following everything. And while I'm in the state of acknowledging things, I am trying my best to pronounce these names correctly, but I cannot promise that I'm gonna get everything right, and I apologize profusely ahead of time. But as for the experience itself, yeah, I had fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it. And I was able to follow enough so that I wasn't completely lost. But I do admit that it got me emotionally in some places. So I feel like the easiest thing to get out of the way is the negative, so I'm going to start with that. Immediately as the story starts, I remembered the problems that I had with the first one. There is a ton of gross out humor. Pee-pee jokes, fart jokes, bodily waste like vomit. There's plenty of them, and they got on my nerves each and every time. I get it, kids laugh at everything, but it's quite the case of whiplash when 1 minute you have characters drinking urine for a goof, and then having high drama like genocide. Actually, a lot of the humor doesn't really land, and goes hard on what could easily be described as modern Disney humor, cracking the most cringe jokes possible at the worst possible time. There's a bit where some bad guys are seeing a wall of destruction coming their way, but they just had to insert a pair of characters exaggerating their screams and running away like they're in Tom and Jerry, slapstick comedy and all, running into walls and leaving their prints in the rock. It's not relentless about it, but there is a dash of inconsistency in which form of genocide is funny or dire. Shen gets the misunderstood villain treatment by introducing a random-ass younger brother character who has been searching for him. I don't remember that in the first one. Then just as quickly as he appears, he leaves. He shows up a couple more times in the story, but I feel like this didn't need to be included. It's a clumsy addition that is obvious setup for something bigger in a future movie, whenever that decides to come out, as these filmmakers are clearly doing more than just ZHA stories. There's also some third act stuff that is wildly spoilery, so I won't get into it, but let's just say that the villain's motivations don't really make sense to me. It's like, you're already powerful. Why do you need to be even more powerful? And some editing made certain events a little unclear and took some serious mental strain to recognize what was a flashback and what was taking place currently. But I can't overstate the entertainment value this provided. The animation is fairly unique in the character designs, specifically ZHA himself. The regular people around him look normal, or what normal is to these designs, but ZHA feels much more exaggerated in his expressions. He has an unnatural look to him, but it works within the world he's in. He was born a demon. He should look odd compared to everyone else. What gets me is how menacing he gets when he's angry, as the villains in this movie really push him to his limit. He's scary, but that's brilliant design, as no matter where he is on the emotional spectrum, I never stopped caring about what he was going through. The side characters are a little hit and miss. Ao Bing is certainly a solid counterbalance of maturity compared to ZHA's hyper-immaturity, and I do like how his role is utilized. As it goes, the Yushu Palace is a place where demons are killed on sight. Luckily, they don't know that ZHA is a demon, so they don't mind that he has to complete the 3 tasks. Problem is if he uses his fiery powers, which he would obviously need to do, that would give him away. That's where Ao Bing comes in. If ZHA is put to sleep, Ao Bing can take over his body and fight in his stead and use his own water-ice-based powers, which are not demonic. He's more disciplined in battle, fights with honor, and never seeks to kill his opponents if they give him a choice. Even better is how strained their friendship can get. Since the invasion of Chentang Pass is partially orchestrated by Ao Bing's father, ZHA is conflicted too, showing no hesitation in his desires to kill Ao Guang if he harms his home and family. Ao Bing is aware of this. He clearly fears that if their mission in Yushu is a failure, this will destroy their friendship. And of course, there's the visuals. Say what you want about certain cartoonish character designs, what can't be argued is how gorgeous the environments are. The tears in the sky that bleed lava from the underworld where the demons come from is stuck in my head. Chentang Pass is lush, bright, and colorful, and Yushu is heavenly, divine, and grandiose. The action scenes are fast-paced, high-octane, and even brutal. This may not be the most violent movie ever made, but hot damn, even bigger budget, more adult action movies don't go this hard. One of my favorite scenes is ZHA's second task fighting a dude on top of a training area on top of tall bamboo, leaping around, the master teleporting like crazy, fighting underwater. The creativity is relentless and exciting. But of course, the climax is where things get truly epic. I want to gush about it, but I can't give anything away. I have no idea when a sequel is going to get made. Probably shouldn't expect one anytime soon. But I sure do want to keep an eye on these creatives and check out that one movie that they did that I missed out on, and check out any other movies that they may have down the pipe, which certainly seems to be the case if the post-credit scene is anything to go by. But as for this one, it's a lot of fun and I really like it. But I do have to admit that it's not going to be for everybody. Not all Western audiences are gonna like this movie, I don't think. It is a shameless Chinese film made for a Chinese audience, but I feel like if you stick with it, if you give it a fair chance, there's something here for you. My honest rating for ZHA 2, a strong 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Hit that like or dislike button. All engagement is welcomed. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. And as always, have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there, and hope to see you soon.
Just relax. So be cool.